Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of All About Light in LightWave. In this episode, I want to talk with you about the Rembrandt lighting. Rembrandt was a Dutch Golden Age painter, and for me, Rembrandt is the master of light. The way how he used light and the characteristic of light and shadows in his paintings, for me, it's absolutely unique, and I love every painting he did. For me, he is the master of lighting. And in this episode, I want to show you how you can achieve this typical Rembrandt lighting in LightWave. Okay, so typical for the Rembrandt lighting is that he has a very strong key light that comes from the side, and it's creating the shadow around the nose, and it's creating this highlight underneath the eyelid. This highlight under the eyelid of a character is also called as the Rembrandt triangle. And this makes the face and the look of a face really interesting and really believable. Actually, it's just a highlight and a shadow combination in a face that makes it so interesting. So this model that we use today, you can find this model on CG Trade. The artist's nickname is 3D Wicked. Gandalf the Wizard is free. You can download it. The model itself is tended to print out with a 3D printer, but you can open up this model as well in a 3D application. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I do is coming up here to the Items tab, add light, area light, and I call this light face light. That's okay. And move this light so that is in the middle of the object, and rise it up so it's about the eye level. Somewhere here. The next step is we have to define the magic angle. The magic angle of the Rembrandt key light is 45 degrees. So in this case, we rotate this light minus 45 degrees. So when the light comes from the other side, it's 45 degrees in the positive direction. But in this case, I want to have the light that comes from the right side here. Then I position the light so that here in LightWave you have this arrow here, so that the arrow passes the model and then bring the light back. Maybe I move it a bit in again, something like that. So start the VPR and see what we get. All right, so now you can see that this area light, which is basically a softbox, a nice soft shadow, but the entire model is lit up soft and even, and it is not creating this typical highlight here. So the reason for that is light rays angle of this specific area light is very wide. So we have to make sure that the light rays, which is coming out from this area light, so what we have to do is we have to shrink the angle down to that specific spot. Just go to the scale tool and scale this light down 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, very tiny. So now this soft light or this area light is very tiny, but the rays now, the light rays now are focused to this tiny little spot. We have a harder light, yes, but as you can see, we get this triangle here. So the triangle here is now a bit too high. So what we have to do is we move the light up slightly until this typical Rembrandt triangle is underneath his eyelid. There we go. Beautiful. And you can see it's very simple actually. It's just one key light that mimics exactly this spot to this Rembrandt triangle. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to fill up the shadows. You can see it's really dark. All right, so the next light that I do is I want to have a rim light that it's cutting out the structure and separate it from the background. So I come up here, item, add light, area light, and call this rim light. And I position this rim light. When you have a look at the other light tutorials I did, and you have to check it out because they are really good, you know that I typically do the following. I disable all the lights that I'm not working on, so I can focus exactly on that light that I'm working on. Okay, so now I just position this light where it should be, because I want to have a very nice rim light, something like that. And in combination with the face light, we have that look. We still have this Rembrandt triangle, we have a nice rim light, and at the end what I do is I need a fill light to bring up the shadows of the entire model. Item, add light, create a new area light and call this fill light, and we position this fill light somewhere here. And we have to bring it up and bring it back. Okay, so now it's very bright, so I reduce this to about 0.2 and change the color to something bluish, dark. Let's try that. And all right, so something like that. You can see that we get this rim light, we get the shadow lifted up a bit, and we have this Rembrandt triangle. So to make it more interesting, let's create a material for this statue. I already created one material. It's actually very simple. I used two color nodes. I used the patina node, where you can drive the dirt or the wear in the opacity. What it actually does is the main sculpture has that color, and where the wear or the dirt is, it's a darker orangey color. So when I plug this in here, you can see that it changes, and I use the same color here to drive the subsurface scattering. There you go. Double click on the principled BSDF shader and increase the subsurface scattering 5 mm in the distance, and increase the specular a bit right there. And then basically we have our statue with the Rembrandt lighting. All right, so the last step actually is just going into the camera. This is a personal preference. I like to have a depth of field, and you can see this circle here that it's defined the focus point. So it's the focus point is exactly on his nose, and the lens f-stop is at 2.3. All right, and now you can see this statue with this lighting setup. It looks really good. This material is very simple. You can create a more complex material. The focus of this episode was the lighting and how you can achieve the Rembrandt lighting into your 3D renderings. I hope you liked this episode, and check out the other All About Lights tutorial. There are a lot of informations and a lot to cover. So that's it. That's the end of this episode. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. Check out the art of Rembrandt. Just Google it, Rembrandt art painting, and you will find great art. Check also out the CG Straight website, where you can find this model of Gandalf the Wizard. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Every comment is very appreciated. If you have any questions, please let me know. And happy rendering. See you next time. Bye, everybody.